Hello, hello. All right, we're doing a double up today to make sure that I got both of these meditation offerings made available to whoever needs them. Should that be whomever? Anyway, all right. So I'm really excited to practice this and see where this goes. So I kind of put this together as a way to help myself and the barrage of exhausting misinformation, disinformation, the loud thumbnails, everybody promising this, that, and the other, and just all of the overwhelming information that's available, right? So I put this together while I was reading Surviving Autocracy, so it all kind of converged into, you know what, I'm going to put something together to help myself better protect against all of what's coming at me online, what feels like all the time. So, just to frame this in the proper context, excuse me. Okay, so the language of psychic decontamination is very specific. This is meant to be a protocol to help us fortify within ourselves. This is practicing inner fortification of our inner world, right? It's to ensure that we have a permanent grounding within ourselves. So as we're scrolling, when we're online doing whatever it is that we need to do, we are anchored to a solid center within us that doesn't get swept away in all of the madness that can become online, right? So, as I said, this was created because of the exhaustion that I felt when going online a majority of the time. Pairing it with surviving autocracy, obviously the two parallels were really profound for me. So that's the foundation. I will be reiterating that in each video just as a reminder that this is meant to be utilized whenever we're feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, just lost in the melee of online. So we're going to start with feeling the impact and uh, gathering that strength, right? Building that strength within. So this is not, we don't reach outside of ourselves, but we anchor within before we dive into the wonderful world of online. Okay, now this is going to start with somatic awareness because we can't feel or we can't change what we can't feel, right? So this is why that's the foundation. We're in our body. All right, doing two meditation lives a day is a little bit disjointed. All right, I'm feeling a little bit discombobulated, so this will be a great grounding for me. All right, so the goal here is to learn to sense when the onslaught is happening, where it's landing in the body, and then to again establish that either physical gesture, sound, but an inner anchor. Okay, so this is going to show up differently for everybody. Please don't feel like you have to tailor yours to the way that I've tailored mine. That's specific to me. So I want you to feel it out and see what works for you. I had a teacher once that said hers was a sense of smell. She linked it to the smell of spices, home cooking, that type of thing. That was her grounding anchor within. Okay. So, and then I had another teacher that she would hear a bell whenever she drift off. She had like a little bell that would go off. Other people had voices that were like, you drifted away, or colors. I was experimenting with colors there for a little bit to see if that would help me anchor. So play with these different aspects if nothing's jumping out at you immediately, or if you don't already have something that's set up for you as an anchor, okay? And this is meant to be the gesture of our inner strength. Okay, so before we totally dive into the somatic body scan, I want to tune in and then we'll talk about the Musti Mudra that we'll be using. So go ahead and rub your palms together. Inhale, exhale as you continue to rub. Bring your hands to heart center, and then we're just going to clear the space. And then with this, I want you to kind of just lean side to side. We're going to do more of a stretching out here. So We're setting the intention to have some somatic grounding. And I want you to allow your body to move side to side, however that shows up within what your body is okay with. And this is to stretch it out a little bit, open up some space here. And it's to experiment with a new way of setting the space and still connecting to the teachers that came before us. Okay, and then as you're slowly moving side to side, I want you to bring the palms of your hands up to your third eye, still swaying gently side to side, allowing the body to move a bit so it can speak with more ease, so we can see more clearly where all of this lands within our body. Okay, and then hands back down to the heart center, still swaying gently side to side. Just grounding in the sense that we are connected to the teachers that have come before us, setting the intention for somatic meditation paired with a mudra. Whoop, whoop, my favorite. Okay, then go ahead and shake out your wrists. You can still gently side to side if you sway side to side, if I can speak in complete sentences here. Or feel free to just shake out sitting upright. That's perfectly fine too. Then shake out the chest a little bit, round the shoulders, bringing in a little bit of joy with some movement. This can be heavy, so we're going to open up the body a little bit. Shake out the wrists. Roll the head nice and gently. Loosen up the neck. Roll the shoulders. A little bit more of shaking. Open up the upper body. Bring the legs in a little bit. Shake them out. They want to shout out too, at least mine do. Okay, and then inhale your hands back together in prayer pose, back to heart center. Exhale. All right, we've set the intention for somatic meditation with a mudra. All right, perfect. Now, the mudra that we're going to be using is the my God, if I can get my teeth around sentences and words, Musti Mudra. Okay, so this is embodying strength. You've all done it. You're all familiar with it. We're going to bring our hands into a fist, gentle fist. It's not rock solid. We're not punching anybody. Okay, it's just we're going to have our hands open, bring them into a gently closed fist, open them back up, gently closed fist. Okay, so we're going to be pulling the energy in. And then we're going to come out. So if you bring your hands up as my avatar actually is moving with me. Yay! Okay, so we're going to kind of bring our hands down as if we're pulling energy in. Bring your hands into a gentle fist. We're just going to kind of go in a circular motion, but it's meant to bring the resonance of gathering and pulling the energy in, right? It's grounded, it's powerful, it's empowering. Okay, so whatever that motion looks like to you, okay? It's not meant to be combative. We're not going to war, right? This is us finding a grounding position. We're gathering and pulling that energy into us, okay? Now, we're not going to start with that just yet, but I wanted to give you the motion before we get into it because we will be doing that during the body scan. So just wanted to kind of demonstrate before we, like I said, dive in. Okay. So here's what we're going to diagnose, where we're going to, in a non-clinical setting, because I'm not a doctor, I just like the word diagnose, via the body scan, okay? All right. So go ahead and close your beautiful eyes or soften that beautiful gaze. Now, we're going to go from our heads down to our toes. And I want you to just pull up a recent time that you've been scrolling online. Platform doesn't matter. None of that is really relevant. Okay. I just want you to pull up the image of the last time you were scrolling on your phone or your laptop or your tablet or wherever you were. Okay. Your PC. You're scrolling along. And I want you to just notice from the top of your head, scan down through, down all the way down to your beautiful little toes. I want you to just notice what's happening in your body as you're scrolling. Okay. So we're going to start kind of broadly here. Then we'll slowly bring it down into a condensed image, or a more specific image, I guess I should say. Okay. So you're scrolling along, and what's happening? Where do you notice the flares going off in your body? And you could be one of the lucky ones where you're just noticing it like in your thumb, the real deep desire to get back to scrolling, right? You don't want to stay here, you don't want to do this, you want to scroll. You'd rather be on your phone or your laptop or your tablet, scrolling through everything the internet has to offer. Woohoo! Perhaps yours is simple, it's just in your thumbs. Okay, so if that's the case, if you just have one spot, I want you to just feel that out. I want you to feel into that that spot that's flaring for you. I want you to notice what else is happening. What's Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it heavy? Is it acidic? Does it bring up specific images? Um, is there an emotional swirl? Is there a mental swirl? That type of thing. Okay, I want you to really connect to the response that's happening. If you're more like me, where you've got several flares that are going off, my chest and heart constrict. My lungs, I can feel it feels like they're collapsing. My stomach area feels just gone. My throat tightens and closes, and then my shoulders also feel like they're just gone. Okay, so I've got a few different flares going on, and this is before we even get into the content itself. This is just the mere thought of scrolling for me. Okay, there's a lot of heaviness, there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of constriction, there's a lot of hollowing out, disappearing. So that's what I'm talking about as far as the response from the body. Okay. So now we're gonna excuse me. Sorry, I'm checking my notes. I feel like I missed a section that I wanted to specifically cover here. Okay, nope, I kept it open intentionally. Okay, so with that outer image that we started with, okay, just the active scrolling, right? As you connect more with the feelings, the flare or the flares, plural, going off in you, I want you to notice, or what the body's advising you, hey, there's an issue here. Hey, there's something coming up here. And same directive as the people with just one flare going off, right? What's going on there? So for me, the biggest concern I feel is stepping into the online space as a unit. I feel very apprehensive. It's the deluge of all of the information, all of these things grasping for my attention, and the realization that I'm more likely to give in and continue watching. So there's that pullback. And as I think about staying online longer, that's when my gut really clenches. It's no longer hollow, it's clenching in desperate attempts to get me to do something different, right? So we're going to spend a little bit of extra time to give you a minute to really get into, okay, so what are these different aspects that are happening here? Now, I don't want you to necessarily follow a story. So let's say, for example, you notice that what comes up, like going back to the people that they just feel it in their thumbs, okay? Let's say yours is you're just looking for a specific creator stuff, right? That's why you desperately want to scroll. You really want to see this creator stuff. Okay, so I don't want you to get into the creator. I don't want you to get into their content. I just want you to notice the polls. Okay, and then flag. Okay, so this is what the dopamine is seeking out. This is where I get my dopamine rush, rather, right? It's the act of looking for a specific creator, a specific content. Okay, and then I want you to follow where that shows up in your body because this will be multi-layered. So just breathe through, do your best to stay with it. If it gets to be too intense, pop those beautiful eyes open, take a few deep breaths, find your breath, find your balance. Okay, and then come back to it if that's what your intention is advising you to do. Okay. And it's perfectly okay to just start with noticing how this shows up in your body. That's a perfect place to start. If that's where your intuition says start, great. Start there. Please don't take yourself any deeper than your intuition, your body is guiding you to go to or go into, okay? You are your ultimate guide. Always honor where your boundaries are. We're just going to take a couple more deep breaths here. We're going to stay with the body scan, but we're going to bring the Musti Mudra in and start pulling that energy in to give us a grounded state. Okay, now we're going to bring in the Musti Mudra. I really want to swap those letters. Now, if you feel like you need a little bit longer to keep connecting to where your body is, how everything feels, please take it as long as you need. Okay, everyone else, we're going to bring our hands up to about shoulder level. And then again, we're going to have hands are open, right? We are open to receiving whatever we need. We're going to go ahead and grab that energy, bring our hands into Musti Mudra as we bring our fists towards our abdomen. We're bringing that energy in. And again, it's a light fist that we're creating. Okay, this is a nice smooth movement. It's meant to be harnessing and pulling that energy in, right? We're just pulling in that anchor, grabbing a hold, we're giving our hands something to do, we're creating the action, right? We're moving that energy so that we're not just lost within the buildup within our bodies. We're just connecting to it, but we're also giving a grounding presence as well. Okay. So as you're still connecting to what's happening in your body, as you're thinking about scrolling online, right? We're going to bring our hands up to the shoulders, open, going to curl the fingers in as we bring the hands down into a fist towards the abdomen, just harnessing and pulling that energy in, okay? Now, this is not to anchor within what the the feelings of the body. This is to ground while that's happening. Okay, so our inner core, our authentic selves, our intuitions, they are experiencing it, but they are not drowning in it. They're not being consumed by what's happening in the body. Okay, so we're not anchoring to the suffering, the distress that's happening. We're giving ourselves an anchor within so that we can continue forward without being consumed by the distress or the suffering. I hope that makes sense. Feel free to drop it in the comments if you feel there's a better way I can express that that would make more sense to you. So I feel like there's a better way or another way that I could also express that. Okay, so as you're still you're just noticing. Okay, so don't get lost in the sensations, just become aware of them. Bringing those beautiful hands up. We're gathering that energy, bring our hands into a light fist at the level of our abdomen. We're just bringing that energy in, right? Calling in what we're ready for, anchoring to ourselves. Can inhale the hands up, exhale as you bring them into a fist at abdomen level. This also acts as a way to open ourselves up as it's happening as well, so that we don't constrict around the suffering, the distress that's happening. And this is not as a way to give permission to stay online longer. It's just to give us an anchor within ourselves. Okay, we'll do a few more of these. Okay, and then I want you to gently bring your attention more to the action of inhaling those beautiful hands up and open. And as you bring them into a light fist at the abdomen level, I want you to transition from what's happening inside as we scroll to the action of opening ourselves up and bringing ourselves into an empowered position as we harness the energy. So we're going to transition into that for the last little bit. Just notice how your body feels. Notice if there's any dissipation of the distress within as we anchor to ourselves. And again, you can inhale up and open with the hands as you exhale and bring them into a fist, or you can do the reverse if that feels more appropriate for you. Couple more rounds. Last two rounds. Inhale up. Exhale into that fist. Okay, one more. One more for good luck. Okay, and then I want you to bring your hands into your lap or into Gyan Mudra and just notice any shifts that occurred. Notice if you feel more foundational within yourself. Any insights you got from the exercise overall. And then with your eyes still closed or your gaze still softened, bring your hands to heart center And we'll just close by saying Sat Nam. Sat Nam. So this is the base that we'll be operating from. Nice body scan, the mudra to anchor and bring us into our center so we don't get swept away by all the information coming at us. And this is the felt impact, both what's happening as we're scrolling, as well as how it feels to step into that space from an empowered place, to take notice of what's happening and to shift to the elevated space of, okay, I need to pull back a little bit here. I need to anchor within myself. I need to set an anchor that I know I can reach to anytime I feel myself being swept away or consumed by the information that I'm seeing. So we will build on this more tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to drop any insights you had in the comments if you feel comfortable with that. Anything that you'd like to throw out there, like I said, if there's a better way to phrase it, or if there's something you feel I missed, feel free to drop that in the comments as well. And again, thank you for joining me. I hope you found this helpful and see you next time.